The Financial Times this morning has published a compelling but I think ultimately unconvincing account of the shift in asylum hotel protests from Britain's deindustrialised north to the sleek towers of Canary Wharf and leafy suburbs of the southeast. It suggests a kind of geographical migration of public anxiety, a new front in the moral and political battles over migration. But in truth, this is less a new front than a familiar story played out in marginally different surroundings. To begin with, what is not in dispute, asylum seekers are still being housed in budget hotels, and these hotels are often in poor repair, inadequately supervised, and rented out to the Home Office at exorbitant rates. What began as a stopgap during the pandemic has, thanks to official lethargy, Suella Braverman and Priti Patel, probably those terms are all synonymous, and a broken immigration processing system ossified into something resembling policy. It is inefficient, morally compromising, and politically volatile, but here is where the FT's narrative, I think, misfires. It tries to construct a novelty out of southern protests, as if opposition to migrant hotels was somehow a northern pathology now spreading like mildew down south. This ignores the reality that London has long been part of the asylum hotel story. The Thistle Barbican in Islington has housed asylum seekers for years, so have hotels near Heathrow, Croydon, Barking and Hounslow. This is not a northern issue turned southern. It's a national failure with no postcode immunity. The FT highlights protests in Canary Wharf and Epping as emblematic of a southern shift, but Epping is not Mayfair. It's a commuter belt town with familiar post-austerity grievances, underfunded schools, stretched NHS services and a declining trust in central government. That locals object to 145 young men being moved into a low-grade hotel with no consultation or clarity on safeguarding is unsurprising. Whether this is being cynically manipulated by far-right figures like, for example, Tommy Robinson is a separate, though not irrelevant matter, but to interpret the protest as a uniquely southern phenomenon is to confuse geography with opportunism. As for Canary Wharf, it's telling that the Britannia International Hotel, a place long past its prime, is treated as some gilded tower of virtue being besmirched by state policy. I saw a video pointing out that this is a hotel that produces complimentary toiletries. Well, that was when it was a hotel, and even then it was a bit shoddy. The residents organising opposition there are not in the main plutocrats. They're renters, many of them working in IT or the gig economy, concerned with local crime, rubbish disposal and safeguarding. And even if some of their anxieties are based on misinformation or prejudice, the FT's implication that this is a new or especially significant form of protest, rather than a familiar drama in a shinier setting, is lazy narrative making. Indeed, what truly fuels the unrest in Epping, in Canary Wharf or in Yorkshire is not location but administrative indifference. The government has failed to move people into proper community housing. It's failed to process claims in a timely manner. It's failed to reassure residents. It's failed to prevent far-right agitators from filling the information vacuum. And the real story is not that the protests are new, but that the Home Office remains as sclerotic and as evasive as ever. The FT's focus on postcode politics obscures the shared architectural culprit, the budget hotel. Whether in Essex or Docklands, these hotels are now lucrative instruments of state outsourcing. They were often near empty, loss-making properties, and they are now cash cows, rented out to the government at about £80 per room per night, when in the past they were lucky if they could get 40 without complaints. This is not about southern poshness versus northern hostility. It's about capitalism exploiting policy failure. A Britannia hotel is a Britannia hotel. It's still a Britannia hotel, no matter the view from the window. Finally, we shouldn't mistake publicity for substance. The presence of counter-protesters in Canary Wharf, police cordons and WhatsApp chat groups do not signal a major socio-political shift. They signal media interest, perhaps even moral theatre, but the asylum issue remains what it always was. Admired in bureaucratic inertia, weaponised by fringe actors and worsened by the government's own neglect. There is only one solution to the asylum hotel problem, and that is for the Home Office to get off its backside and start doing some work. The FT may want a new angle on an old problem. It may want to fill up a little bit of space in its newspaper, but the scandal is unchanged. These protests, north, south, east or west, are the consequence of a failing asylum system, not of geography. This isn't a Canary Wharf story. This is a Whitehall story.